Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. If you are gearing up to lead teams in luxury hotels, high-end restaurants, or modern revenue offices, you already know that everyday operations take way more than just good software and a solid schedule. Today, we're diving deep into the absolute core of what actually motivates a high-performing team.
Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support. I am pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry.
To help guide that growth, we have a really focused roadmap for today. We're going to cover 6 key areas. 1. The foundation of engagement. 2. Trust through everyday actions. 3. Fairness in hotel operations. 4. Respect as a core value. 5. The cost of disengagement. And finally, 6. Shaping your organizational culture.
Let's jump right into part 1, the foundation of engagement, building the base.
So, what do we actually mean when we say emotional foundation? Look, in hospitality, your teams are interacting constantly, right? With guests, with vendors, and with each other all day long. Because of that intense human element, the relational dynamics on your team completely drive both motivation and performance. This foundation rests on 3 main pillars: trust, fairness, and respect. And let me be clear, it is an absolute prerequisite. If you don't have this emotional baseline secured, honestly, even the most expensive employee engagement programs are just going to fall flat. You literally cannot bypass the human element in this industry.
Moving right along to part 2, trust through everyday actions, focusing on reliability in operations. The very first pillar of this foundation is trust. But think about it. How is trust actually built on a crazy busy hotel floor? It's definitely not built through massive, sweeping gestures or expensive annual corporate retreats. It happens in the daily grind. It really comes down to 3 basic operational steps: keeping your promises, communicating honestly, and applying your policies consistently. Doing those 3 things, day in and day out, is exactly what signals true reliability to your team.
And when you prove that reliability over time, you get something amazing: psychological safety. When your staff genuinely trusts leadership, the entire dynamic on the floor shifts. They actually feel safe bringing up concerns before they turn into full-blown operational disasters. They'll enthusiastically share ideas to boost the guest experience, and they just commit fully to their roles. They aren't just clocking in and clocking out. They are actively invested in the success of the property.
Which leads us straight into part 3, fairness in hotel operations, or equity in practice. You have to know that your team is constantly watching and evaluating how fair things are. They look at how decisions are made across the board. We're talking about scheduling and shifts, how the workload is distributed, who gets promoted, and who gets recognized. And in hospitality, this is huge because things like weekend shifts and holiday schedules directly impact people's personal lives. If the workload feels completely unbalanced during a sold-out weekend, trust me, your team is going to notice immediately.
And here is a crucial warning: perceived favoritism quickly undermines morale and engagement. Notice I said perceived. Even if you have zero intention of playing favorites, if the schedule seems to always benefit one specific group over another, that perception alone acts like a toxin. It will quietly but very rapidly destroy your team's morale.
Let's turn to part 4, respect as a core value, focusing on individual treatment. Respect is entirely about how you treat your employees as distinct individuals, not just cogs in the operational machine. Now, in high-pressure environments, like a kitchen during a dinner rush or the front desk during a massive conference check-in, you have to actively demonstrate that respect. How do you do that? By actively acknowledging their hard work, really listening even when you're overwhelmed, handling issues with absolute professionalism, and always relying on calm communication and empathy. In fact, institutions like the Europe Hotel School London teach this exact kind of respect as a fundamental value of service leadership. It's honestly what separates a generic boss from a true hospitality leader.
So what happens when things go wrong? That brings us to part 5, the cost of disengagement, when the pillars fall.
If that emotional foundation starts to crack, you get active disengagement. Think about the massive difference between an employee who is merely complying versus one who has full emotional commitment. With mere compliance, sure, they'll wear the uniform, stand at their station, and do the absolute bare minimum to not get fired. But without trust, fairness, and respect, they withdraw emotionally. They mentally check out from the property, from the guests, and from you as their leader.
And that emotional withdrawal? It is a total disaster for operations. It doesn't just affect that single employee.
it spreads. It directly and measurably harms your overall service quality, it completely fractures teamwork, leaving everyone else to pick up the slack, and ultimately, it hits your guest satisfaction scores hard. Guests can always tell when the staff is emotionally checked out.
If you do end up in a spot where trust has been broken, rebuilding it is no small task. Fixing a damaged emotional foundation takes 3 things you rarely have to spare in a fast-paced hotel: a lot of time, deep transparency, and relentless, consistent effort. Let me tell you, it is so much easier and far more efficient to maintain this foundation than to try and rebuild it from the rubble.
Finally, we've arrived at part 6, shaping your organizational culture, and specifically the leader's role.
You could literally have the most beautifully written employee handbook in the industry, but it won't mean a thing if your own actions don't match it. Modeled behavior is what actually establishes your norms. When you, as a manager, show respect to your team, to the guests, and to your peers across different departments, you are setting the real, lived culture of the property. People follow what they see, way more than what they read in a code of conduct. As a leader, your shadow covers the entire operation.
So, to bring it all together for today's explainer, true engagement only flourishes when your team feels safe, valued, and treated equitably. That means trust, fairness, and respect are absolutely not just optional nice-to-have perks. They are hard, strategic necessities for modern leadership in this industry. You simply can't run a successful, high-performing property without them.
I want to leave you with this one question to ponder as you move forward in your career. What daily actions will you take to model trust, fairness, and respect in your hotel? Don't just think about your 5-year plan. Think about your very next shift. Think about the next time you talk to a team member. The culture of your future property starts right there with your everyday actions. Thanks for tuning in, and I wish you the absolute best in your hospitality journey. Keep learning and keep leading.